spokesman on the ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now, information about the events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, the enemy violated ceasefire to areas. These are Stanica Luganska and Novotoshkivska, Bakhmutska highway. In Stanica, from 1 till 3, there was heavy firing between ATO forces and the militants that were at the high bank of Seversky Donetsk River. In Novotoshkivska, between 11 p.m. till midnight, there were 3 enemy shellings, including 1 mortar shelling. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Lugansk area, there were 5 enemy shellings. In Donetsk area, the situation remains tense. At night and during the day, the enemy systematically shell Ukrainian positions with heavy weapons, mortars and cannons. In Avdiivka and at the front line Opytno-Pisky, the enemy delivered several artillery shellings, and in second instance, these were howitzers D-30. The enemy uses mortar along the front line in Donetsk area. The most intensive shelling is in Zaitsevo and Avdiivka production area. In Pivdena village, former Leninske, Toretsk City Council, the enemy snipers were active twice, and in Svetlodarska Bulge, the enemy violated ceasefire, but without the use of heavy weapons. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Donetsk area, there were 30 enemy shellings, including 18 with the use of heavy weapons. Taking into account the attempts to escalate the conflict, the enemy continues to bring weapon and personnel at the front line. And according to the information of Chief Intelligence Department of MOD at the suburbs of Donetsk, they deployed a firing platoon, 3 units of 152mm howitzers in Stab B, and to Makiivka they brought 3 grads and 4 trucks of ammunition. In Mariupol area, the most intensive military actions were to the north, that is Krasnogorivka, Mariinka, and in the south, Shirokina and adjacent territories. Traditionally, during the day, the enemy didn't use heavy weapons, but after sunset, our positions were repeatedly shelled with mortars and with the use of 152mm cannons. Also, in both regions that were mentioned, enemy snipers are active. In Krasnogorivka, a school came under enemy fire. Because of insecurity, students attend other school that is in the safe area, and from 4 to 6 a.m. the militants delivered a number of mortar shellings in Starognativka region. And for the rest of the day, it was calm in this area. There was episodic violation of ceasefire in other places. And in the Kuchayevsk region, there was full lull. Also, in Mariupol area, yesterday, there were 37 enemy shellings, including 14 with the use of heavy weapons. And during the last 24 hours, there were flights of air drone of the enemy. One of their air drones was launched from the territory of Russian Federation, Taganrog town. And during the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed and 4 were wounded. And 2 servicemen were wounded because of the explosion of booby trap. We express our condolences to the relatives of those servicemen who died. In the course of enemy shellings, civilians suffered, and in Avdiivka, 75-year-old man died and 1 more person was wounded in Mariinka. Losses of the enemy. During the last 24 hours, 6 militants killed and 9 were wounded. Losses were sustained by 5th Brigade, Makiivka, 7th Brigade, Valseva, 11th Regiment, Makiivka, 100th Brigade, Donetsk, Russian occupation groups. According to the information of Chief Intelligence Department of MOD, reinforcement came from Russia and so 2 tanks T-72, 2 APCs, 2 Grad systems, and 5 tanks of fuel and lubricant materials came to Ilovaisk, and 7 tanks with fuel and lubricants, and 3 railway cars with ammunition were brought to Kharkiv. Ukrainian Special Services detained a resident of Kamensk who published fake information to discredit armed forces of Ukraine in the internet. This administrator of social network in 2015 attended Russia, and he was recruited by the representatives of anti-Ukrainian structures that were formed by Russian special forces. And he spread fake information about Ukrainian forces, and also he informed his curators about political situation in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Police officers of Mariinsky region detained Vostok member who fought in the area of Donetsk airport. 20-year-old young man, nicknamed Bradyaga, was hiding in Pavlivka, his native village. He served in the ranks of the militants for money, but in a year of service, he earned only $150, or about 4,000 hryvnias, and then he fled from Vostok and returned home and was hiding from investigation. And one more former militant returned home through They Wait For You at Home SBU program. In June 2014, the resident of Mariinsky region was trying to go to Russia to earn some money, but then in Donetsk he was beaten. They took his documents away and forced him to join DPR militant groups. This man served and patrolled the railway station in Donetsk. Then he returned his documents and fled to the territory that is under control of Ukrainian power. He was hiding for 2 years. Then he got the information about the program of SBU They Wait For You at Home. He cooperated with investigation, and now he has all the legal grounds to be released from criminal responsibility. In Zhytomyr, the SB officers detained a offender who was selling arms from the ATO region. He was detained at site while he was trying to sell Makarov pistol at Zhytomyr-Kiev highway. And SBU also stated that he sold RGD-5 grenades. And special forces blocked the channels of financing of the militants through conversion center in Lugansk Oblast. It was identified that 13 enterprises got the money and then brought them to the occupied territories. Part of financing was for the militants. And in course of search, the law enforcement confiscated documents, seal stamps of more than 30 fake firms involved in this criminal scheme. Dear friends, thank you for your attention. Do you have questions? Thank you, Colonel. Do you have questions? Please be brief. Introduce yourself first. Correspondent of Ukraine Facts and Events. So, tell us, please, as of today, do you have information about the overall number of the militants in the territories of occupied Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts? The matter is, for the whole period of reporting, these figures, they differ. And we should have objective number of the forces of these illegal groups in the Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. This is really important. So if you enter the Chief Intelligence Department site, there is information about militant groups' activities, and information is presented, and all the information is there, and they provide information about the participation of the officers of the armed forces and mercenaries, the citizens of Russian Federation, and also there are names and ranks of those Russian officers who command these army corps that were created in the east of our state. And more detailed information is daily updated, and this information is presented by the Intelligence Service of Ukraine. And there is information about the general number of the illegal armed groups and also about Russian occupation forces that are in the east of our state. Thank you, Colonel. Do you have other questions or comments? If there is no, thank you. The press conference is over. Dear colleagues, the next press conference is at 1 p.m. sharp.